That night, something happened that I'll never forget. I was sailing alone across a quiet stretch of ocean when the sun began to fade behind the horizon. The world slowly turned silver under the moonlight. I dropped anchor near a small island, letting the gentle waves rock the boat. The air was still, no wind at all, just silence, and that vast, endless calm. I sat on the bow, wide awake, completely at peace, until I heard a faint crying sound. At first, I thought I was imagining things. But then it came again, soft, sorrowful, almost human. The strange part, it wasn't coming from the island. It was coming from under the water. I leaned over the edge, listening carefully. That's when I realized I could actually hear voices talking, whispering, even arguing. One voice said, trembling, "Brother, have you heard? The Dragon King issued an order. Yesterday every creature in the sea that still has a tail, must be executed. I'm a carp. I have a tail. That means I'm doomed. There's no escape for me." The poor fish began to weep loudly, thrashing his tail as if he wished he could just tear it off and live. Then another voice, deeper, sadder, joined him. It was a frog. He too was crying. The carp asked, "Why are you crying, little brother? You don't even have a tail. You're safe." The frog sighed. "That's what you think. But when I was a tadpole, I did have a tail. What if the Dragon King decides to look back into our pasts? Then I'm just as guilty as you are." When I heard that, I couldn't help but laugh. And then, unexpectedly, I began to cry too. Because in that moment, I saw myself in both of them. I said softly, "If that Dragon King looks far enough back, then we humans wouldn't stand a chance either. We came from monkeys, didn't we? If every being is punished for what they once were, then none of us could survive." Then I remembered what my teacher once told me, words that stayed with me ever since. Every person carries a past they're not proud of. But growth isn't about erasing who you were, it's about forgiving it. The moment you stop judging others and start seeing your own flaws with the same clarity, your life will begin to change. And as I sat there under the moonlight, listening to the sea, I realized something. We all have our tails. We all have parts of ourselves we wish we could cut off or forget. But maybe the real wisdom is to stop trying to escape them, and instead learn to understand them. Because when we learn to forgive what we were, we finally make space for who we can become.